start pretty mellow. I don't know. We get like some D beat shit.
how do we know what we desire?
We're the Forest Friends Good Time Band from Mukilteo, Washington, USA.
Fourth flush turned bitter with rage. I mercilessly think that I might have been her first cremation. The cold gray dust floated in the lakes. She could still feel them within her creaking, cracked chest, nesting twigs along the waterfront. Caught a bit of remains on their edges, sick and selfish. They kept her there. The moon sighs and swoons. She somehow moves. Can you hear her? Can you still see her? Have you forgotten she's still human, even after all the burnt flesh and decay? Somehow revived, ever so slightly, in the bed of weeping, sweet, weeping winter. May I still sing, still screech with intricacy. I lost that rage I once knew. There was enough to last, long nights of longing in the rust, new life, new skin, except it's all one now, all morphed together, like she was nothing, felt nothing, saw nothing, for all the days that deem themselves memorable. This is not that tale anymore, but rather something else for the ages, timeless, a pretty moth under a microscope, that aches how it must. She wants to age, feel all, kiss the death rattle, and yearn for more with ingrained lust. And then this one's called Rain. Here, homeopathic tea with notes of Tahoe water. The deadliest summers will guide you. Sparsely, nostalgic gloss shines, trees rattle and burn away with time. And the dry summer air smugs my cheeks. It fogs everyone's face at the end of the winding road. They turn dark cherry red. I always felt so alone. How was I to comprehend? Everyone in the auburn earth turned Cordovan beside me. Like little pieces of plastic in a dollhouse, we were barely people when scaled down to that town size. I yearned for more. Maybe that's why there's no glee in the city sucking away at my soul. Now the trash is elevated. I see beauty in everything. I want to hold it all. Every newspaper, broken glass, every streetlight that shines in cool contrast with the darkness. I will be a slave to the city if it wants me at any given point. But tonight, I feel something distant in my bones. I hear eligible acoustic and childlike wonder. I hope it's still within the heart of my mind somewhere. Let me guide your memory. There's meek, grain and clutter. Wood under my heels as equally red dirt collects under the wheels, even though I cannot feel it, until a miniature stone collects, and I reminisce, falling, falling, falling. My knee bleeds and bruises, brown around the edges with cement seams. I found that the droplets fascinated my developing brain. After that, I yearned for the raw, to hold the memories in my hands. So I chose cameras, splinters, and smoke, tangible textures that my excessively sensitive brain will remember as of today. I still feel the nerves of that first fly. Remember, after all the murdered cells, I remember, in minimal glimpses as if I were but 13 years old again, and again lost in a fort of my own creation, in a town that I had to form escapism from. I would have died if I hadn't, I know it. Without escape, the wonder would pass, and the city would no longer make me homesick for that van, also flying, simply soaring through San Francisco. Has anything increased or decreased to a point of no return? Existential dread, even at that age. Maybe I'm still her, she's still me. She still enjoys the salt water scent the calla lily leaves in her bloody knees. Outlandish girl that sees sprites and bugs and perfection in the candid mundane. Maybe nothing ever changed. This is my last one. It's I take the poem. It's called Haven. It's about realist architecture. The weeping willow, tall beside the strong stone musk. Charcoal made the lines, everlasting seeds long gone. Ponder the brutalist coil. That's everything. Lots of books over there. So.
I thought I would try to write something, and then I was like, I can't because it's just been hard. So, and then I was thinking, well, I spend so much time on my phone, I should just write something on my phone because that's just the worst thing. It's not writing. So then I started writing an essay on my phone with my thumbs. Was it really writing? I don't know. So, I'll read it to you. My train of thought went like, do you notice how often serious conversations happen over text? Over cell phones, I mean. Not even on the phone, but through text. And I think the culprit is our thumbs. I mean, think about it. How can you have a good, helpful, guided conversation only using your thumbs? It's maybe the smallest bit of contact you can make with someone. Imagined, real, somatic, psychosomatic, or otherwise. Here you are staring at a tiny, thin, black rectangle plate and trying to hit all these itsy-bitsy tiny letters of the alphabet to resemble some semblance of an argument while using both one of the stupidest, strangest, and maybe one of the easier languages there are in the world. You could argue with me about that, but only do it through text, please. Text messages. And all the while holding this thin rectangle, your body is turning in on itself, shoulders tensing, neck pulsing, back aches and spasms, but still it baffles me that people would rather do this than this. Especially when that person they're having it out with is the one they claim is, or at least used to be at one point in their life, their whole world, their number one, the person they cling to. And here you are hammering out some convoluted, garbled mess that only deepens the chasm between you and that person you love, or at least used to love. And for so much of that stupid, confusing conversation through the tip of your thumbs, and it's only just like this tiny little bit, right? You hit the wrong letters and you have to use the erase button over and over again. Thank God Apple or somebody invented autocorrect. Also, do you remember T9? I felt like a genius when I learned that. Sure, I get the arguments that it's easier to write it all out and set it all down, take your time, think through it, scroll back through, and then you also have all this stream of text that you can refer back to as evidence. Good old he said, she said, she said, they said situation, but you already know where this is going. You're already 3 steps ahead because you texted it all out with those wildly silly, useful thumbs of yours, because really this is about winning. The problem is you already lost. Because relationships aren't about winning, about who's right or wrong. They're about connecting, understanding each other, validating, supporting, honesty, trust, etc. You know, all those good things that expand our sense of self and make us believe in a better world, blah, blah, blah. That happens a lot when people read you text messages their friend sent you, and then blah, 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 dot, dot, dot. Oh, and also, or a lot of the kids these days go da 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 da, or something like that. Also, the inevitable analyzation of a fucking period or a winky face. A period. A phrase like, hey, I'm going on a date tonight, when you're still on good terms with your bestie and she texts you back, get it, girl! Exclamation mark. But months later, the texting is on the wall. She responds to your date with, have fun, period. This changes everything. Your stomach drops. You might even feel nauseous. I mean, don't overthink it. It might be she's just busy tonight. But you know the truth, that punctuation and emojis convey so much. You begin to realize she doesn't love you anymore. And I will say that my ex-best friend always knew what mood I was in based on how I used punctuation. Language is ever evolving, and old grandpas in the 19th century and the 18th, and probably in Socrates' time. Also, was Socrates even real? Or did Plato just make him up to sell philosophy? We're forever bemoaning the loss of some arcane, highfalutin standard of language that people were dumbing down the language, etc., etc. Blah, blah, blah. And I've read some very compelling linguistic essays, okay, only a few, that make the case that every generation feels this way and goes through this agonizing feeling of being appalled at the way the youth speak. But that's not even what I'm trying to say here, as my thumbs grow ever tired. The ache, as though I played for hours on my stupid mobile app game like Candy Crush in days gone by. What I'm saying is, please, for the love of all that is convoluted and unholy, can you set your phone down for a second, look the one you love in the eye, and tell them how you really fucking feel. Even if it's to tell them you're angry and fed up and you want a divorce. Okay. Okay, and then this next one is also kind of an essay, but it's short. I'm gonna have to find it. I thought about just reading through this and reading some of my dreams, but I don't know what that would end up. So, okay. Show, don't tell. Don't use the same word in a paragraph. You're trying to convey the emotion of the poem, take all the structure, direction, instructions out of it, this house skeleton stripped out of it. All that's left is the couch and the floorboards where she lay bleeding for a solid hour. Don't pick up the pieces and beat me over the head with them. They're too heavy, tired, dull, and besides, I get it. There's no subtlety here. But don't worry about it. This is just the first draft. Also, don't censor yourself so much. Just let her rip, flow free form. Let the words whir through you, but also kill your darlings. And after you slash them, you best come back and bird by bird, recover, reshape, puzzle it out of your mouth, out of your brain, through your fingers. Maybe like this, maybe like this, maybe like this. The good writing is in the revision. A writer is someone who writes things and finishes them. Write as much as you can for as long as you can. Write first thing in the morning. You have to push through the resistance and just write. keep showing up, words on a page. All a poet needs is for another poet to call them once a week and tell them they're a good poet. And then I've got a really, really tiny short one, and then I'll be done. And I think the title of this could be a prompt, which is asking Time Man to spin time backwards. Spinning backwards, a spiral detangling your hair so I may witness the purity of your union all over again. But no, why unspin the threads of time when the tapestries of your lives weave the most stunning picture of you? Thanks.
With that, we're near the end, folks. Almost. Can we give it up for all the performers again one more time? I love that each unpoetry is a little strange in its own amorphous way. I don't know. I love them so much. I love doing this. I love that there's like a weird little intimate, no bullshit vibe to it. Just a bunch of people in a room. I'm gonna hope this isn't loud, but sometimes I hit the wrong button, so give me a few. But that's the wrong button. Anyways, what can I say? We can do a little intro while I jiggle around with these chords in a way. Thing about unpoetry, everybody, or as I've come to figure it out, because all I do is write the word un in front of things now, is remember that unpoetry is verbal, right? It's not, when you say it's not a thing, it's definitive. That is not something. When you say undo, unwind, unpoetry, that's an action, right? How do you do that, is the question. stretched out and sedated and waiting for the end. To say at the end you lose is to say that you were. 2024, baby. That's the ending you discussed. 2024, that's how you undulated. The prickling stroke the strain on Thursday for your mending. I feel the solar spell had been soothing, mutilated, accumulate density, accentuate the atrophy, talk round the weather, near the affected cause to cold white feet, yet none or anyone's wear close to the hatching. Smokes to a memorial, gallbladder composed, glimpse after more, then some closet space. Your closet space vibration without receptacle. The growing of the vat that toothed its own solar coaxial distance. The wailing that ain't gone, the gone left in the fingers of doneness. 10 feet lower, eld blue eye. You created the tribunal ball. Your tribunal ball held you there in the tribunal ball. Electroanima unholy, battle damage, renewed ultraviolet plates, at the straddle of war I believe again. You now created this path, I feel you slip between my fingers. 10 feet lower, 10 feet straight. The empire of the dark gateway does sing of blankets on the floor. This is the receptacle. The ordained announcement, the long week awakening. Unloading the wood from the proper pose, you don't realize me? Don't you realize me? Don't you realize the feet that are growing out of the stone flowers? At the center we stalk around the nucleus of affected death. Cold. Hatching is new, the duodenum pool. Chalk or lanterns is what you subsist on the facility walls. How much presence as the tensest realization? Not of you, spun patriarch, more than renewed violence. You hate the farthest corner, R is the middle I'm at. We talk around the weather, bloated, grotesque, the rhetoric of limbs thus accentuated, atrophy, back to left and then again, finding me within all the sickly turning, the labyrinth. I miss your sleep on my feet terribly. At the center, seek about the weather, speaking situational kindness. The gallbladder composed of glimpse after bore. Patriarch called upon me today, wondering aloud, the being stated of allotments. All is curled on the couch, purring. There was sawdust on everything. Everything tangible, absence, adored, coat rack, torn throb, writing hand, excruciating. I feel you slip between my fingers. 10 feet lower from the strain. On the Thursday for your mending. Let the morning take your place. Oh, don't you realize me? Or must I strike the proper pose? the block